Welcome back here today on the beautiful campus of Florida Panhandle Technical College. Another in our series of community events and affairs. Special treat today. We have Lynne Eldridge from Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida. Certainly, if you're a regular viewer of the show, you've met Lynne, heard her talk about children. We're here today to talk about something very special coming up very soon, ArtKidDoo, 5th annual at Shivers Park in downtown Chipley.
Absolutely.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Lynne about what is ArtKidDoo, all the reasons why you as a parent, maybe as a grandparent, if you have children in your life in any way, shape, or form, ArtKidDoo is something of which you should be aware and a great reason to visit Shivers Park on Saturday, April 8th. When we come back, we're going to talk about all this and more, and we will be right back. Welcome back. As mentioned, our guest today is Lynne Eldridge with Early Learning Coalition. How are you?
I'm great, Paul. How are you?
Good. It's been too long.
Too long. But some good stuff coming up.
Yeah. You have got your hands full. You are obviously Early Learning Coalition, helping people to fill in that gap to be able to afford child care so they can go into that workforce.
Go to work.
Seems like we've got that catch-22 anymore. If somebody wants to work and they have 2 or 3 children and they fall between the cracks as far as income, it makes it tough.
It really does, Paul. It's not like you can go get a job and start tomorrow, because if you have children, you have to think about what happens to the children, where do they go? And now, Paul, when you look at the cost of childcare, if you have a preschooler and an infant, you're going to pay minimum, anywhere you go, $250 a week, minimum. So you don't just walk into a job with those kind of dollars for childcare in your mind and know what to do. So hopefully there are ways, and sometimes we are able to help parents who are eligible.
The upside and the good news that we're going to talk about today is the fact that if people want to come to the 5th annual ArtKidDoo happening here shortly, they can get to talk to you and your staff, find out more about what Early Learning Coalition of Northwest Florida does, what opportunities are afforded them, be able to meet and maybe some of the child care providers highlight what they offer. More importantly, an opportunity for their kids just to be kids.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what ArtKidDoo is. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years.
I know. I can't believe it.
5 years ago, you and Susan Gage came to us and said, we're thinking about this event. We were involved with Kids Fest in Panama City for 100 years.
100 years.
We had the fortune when I was in radio and television to work with you. Certainly knew what the concept was. But you wanted to put a little bit of a wrinkle into it. You wanted it to be about the arts, about that hands-on connection. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Talk a little bit about what is ArtKidDoo.
Well, really, ArtKidDoo is all about children and families being able to enjoy the arts together, whether it's painting or drawing or singing or dancing or reading, whatever their flavor, clay, whatever they'd like to do. It's an opportunity for them, the parent and the child or the grandparent or whoever it is with that, the family, to be involved and to do something together. You won't find bouncy houses and you won't find pony rides and things like that. It's really about the children and the adults getting their hands into the water and into the clay and into the paint and just enjoying what they're able to make from that and being together.
Yeah, you know, our first response, again, when you and Susan came was, okay, there's these people, again, with bouncy houses and with the petting zoos and this sort of thing. What really impressed us, though, was the fact that you wanted kids to come away dirty.
Yes.
And you know, and that's just a fun way of putting the fact that you want it to be hands-on.
Yes.
Let them be kids. Don't worry about the mess they're making.
No.
The city of Chipley has been very gracious. In the use of Shivers Park.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I think it was the 2nd year or maybe the 3rd year, they had a pile of sand.
Oh, I know. I'm still trying to get that pile of sand donated this year because it was a hit. I think we just put some bones out there and some buckets and shovels, and that was the favorite, just digging. And you know, Paul, one of the things that we forget is just how amazing it is when children start laughing and parents start laughing. You can just see that stress just coming down, down, down. And in today's world, even the children, are being said that they're already depressed and they're 3 and 4 years old, and parents have so much on them that getting out into a park where the wind is blowing through the trees and children can run and you don't have to worry about something hitting them. But together, I guess I'd have to call it the old times. And when I was a child, the park was just a favorite place for my family and I to just go, and we were kids. And that's what we wanted, that children and parents could come together, and if they're good at painting, great, and if they're not good, that's great too. Just come and enjoy what's out there and see how it feels.
If you've said it once, you've said it 100 times in my presence, that play is the work of the child.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And that's how they learn.
Yes.
In the pre-show, we were talking briefly about the fact that many people feel that it's just very imperative that their child go to preschool and kindergarten, when in reality they could embrace the fact that so much of that could be done right at home. So this is going to happen from 10 o'clock in the morning until 1 in the afternoon on Saturday, April 8th. It's the second Saturday in April.
Yes.
Shivers Park, downtown Chipley. There are a lot of people that live in the area, have many years, and have never been to Shivers Park. It's a beautiful area.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. It sits right in the middle of beautiful homes. It's just a very peaceful place to be. I just enjoy going, and I don't think that I even pick my head up from doing face painting or working with the clay, but it's just so relaxing. You're tired at the end of the day, but it's the best kind of tired. And children and parents have just laughed and had a good time, and you've laughed with them. And I really, if people would just come, I really think that they would go away feeling like it had been well worth their while.
As in any festival, event, special event, those that look seamless, that are a lot of fun, actually have a lot of activity and a whole bunch of people that made all that work happen. You have some community partners that make that happen. Who are some of those people that partner with? I know Head Start does.
Head Start, some of our child care centers come out and actually do booths, and they show parents how to teach through play. So that's very interesting for them. We also have the library comes out, and the Art Council is a big supporter. In fact, our very first year, I believe it was, they came on board with us, and we had art contests and awarded winners, and just a lot of those folks in the community. We have the Sheriff's Department. Their junior deputies continue to be a gift and a blessing to us, keeping the traffic down. And just, if I keep naming, I'll leave somebody out, but we just have been very lucky to have a lot of people.
Yeah.
Paul, you've been one of them, as a matter of fact.
Well,
one of our greatest partners and probably one of our best cheerleaders, in recognizing just how special it can be to say to families, just come take a day. So I'm very grateful to you and Miss Debbie for all you do for this community.
Well, you're very kind. At the end of the day, it is what we do, but yours is not a hard organization to embrace, because at the end of the day, we're grandparents 6 times over.
Yes.
We recognize the value. I want to go back, though, to something you said. You talked about the child care providers. We have many of those in this multi-county area. What better opportunity for that child care provider, who is a business,
yes, absolutely,
to get people to
Private
take a
business.
closer look at what they provide and ultimately, hopefully, bring their children to that center?
It's an amazing opportunity for that child care provider. You know, they're a small business, but they are a business. When they come out on this day, they really are, their staff are with them, usually the director's with them, the owner, and what they're trying to do, exactly what you say, they're kind of letting folks know who they are and what they do, but at the same time, they're engaging with children and parents and families so that parents could ask anything they wanted to. If you're asking about, well, why do you say children learn doing this? They are able to share with you about their philosophy, their program. So you're able to get a lot of good information right up front. And absolutely, it's a wonderful thing. I think it's amazing for a provider to be able to come out and showcase who they are, what they do, and why they think they're kind of special.
You were sick, unfortunately. You were ill last year, so you weren't able to attend. The year before, I thought I stayed to the bitter end. I thought, because I stayed an hour after your closing time as published. When I left, I swear you still had 30 or 40 kids lined up, and parents, waiting to have their faces painted.
We might have, and I think we had 2 face painting things going on, two different areas, and 3 people in our face painting tent, or whatever it was. You just don't even look up. I will tell you that you do a little less detail the further along you go. You just kind of put, okay, butterfly or puppy dog, one or the other. But we really had a great time. It's amazing how, Paul, we even had one mother stand in line. I thought she was standing in line with her children because she really waited, and she said, oh no, I want my face painted too, and I want that. And I went, okay, let's go. So, this is a time to be children again. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
You leave a mess behind. And when I say that, nothing that a good rain won't take care of. But there's a walking track all the way around the outskirts of Shivers Park. There's a bunch of that that's covered in chalk.
Chalk, yes.
Sidewalk art, that is some of my favorite. We actually have contests, impromptu contests.
Absolutely. And you know, I love seeing the teenagers get down there on that chalk art. You wouldn't think that would interest them, but they are down there making the most beautiful pictures and having those contests, and they don't know that it's coming. Yeah, that's very cool. And you're right, it'll take a good rain, but it's just so much fun to walk back along that path and see the work that so many of them have done. And they're very proud of it.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
You have had interpretive dance. You have had the local martial arts studios come and do demonstrations. They'll also allow, I know that they forced me, they wouldn't take no for an answer. I had to break a board, and they took a picture of me doing it. Everything at ArtKidDoo engages the person involved in that activity. You can't stand there and watch. That's not allowed. You must get in there and do. Whether it's wet sand and clay, whether it's painting on the sidewalk, whether it's just a hand painting. I love the big display, and I think we're showing a picture of it now, where people dip their hands in paint and then just simply left their handprints. That, and then after it was done, you had that piece of art, true art, that was left behind. So often we look at festivals, events, even the television, as a babysitter. This is not where you allow the parent to not be engaged.
No.
You encourage from the very start that person, like you mentioned, the woman going with the face painting that wanted hers painted right along with her children. What is the value of, I know it's your mission statement, so let's don't get into the philosophy of ELC or early learning, but to you, Lynne Eldridge, what is the value of that child along with that parent participating together in that artistic environment?
It's probably the fact that they're building memories, that when tough times come, Paul, they need those memories. They need to be able to go back in their mind and remember when they laughed together, when times were better. And we call that with young children resilience, that no matter what they have to go through, there's a place in their heart, in their spirit, in their mind, that they can go back and remember, Mom and I did the clay together. Oh, Mom walked on this paint with me. You should have seen her. And you begin to laugh and smile in your heart. And young children today and their parents need to have those types of, I call them love rituals, built up within them for those tough times. If you've raised children, and you have, you know there's going to be some tough times down the road where you and your child may not see, in fact, will not see eye to eye. And yet if you can go back to a time where you stood in line together waiting to get your faces painted identical. That's a common memory that pulls you both back to a place where it didn't matter what clothes you wear or how you cut your hair or what you agreed with or didn't. You were family. And I guess, Paul, that's one thing I never want children not to be able to say. Good or bad, this is family. And I have family. And ArtKidDoo kind of builds that family feeling, that sense that we're all in this together. It takes us back to a time in my mind where life maybe was a little simpler, where we can always wanted to step off the train rather than on it. And this gives you an opportunity to step off and as a family. Paul, you said that play is the work of young children. You couldn't be more correct. But the other piece about play is that play is a natural healer. It heals. There's something, it releases serotonin and endorphins in the brain and begin to heal places that we don't even know are hurting, whether it's the mom or the dad or the grandmother or the child. And so that playing together, they don't even know that something wonderful is happening deep down, but it is. That's how we were made. And so getting out there and just playing as a family, taking your time. We don't hurry you. You don't have to rush. We don't cut a line off. As you say, we'll stay until that line goes down, because this isn't about hurry up. This is about being in the moment with your child. So we say, put your cell phones away. This isn't, unless you're taking pictures of what's going on and sending them off right away, how they do that. You know, Paul, I don't know how to do that.
We've been showing video of the past several years as we've been speaking. When we come back, we're going to continue talking to Lynne Eldridge and Early Learning Coalition about ArtKidDoo. We're going to talk a little bit more about how you can get involved in ArtKidDoo. More importantly, how you can find out more about how you can maybe get some assistance with your child care provision. And again, it'll be more about ArtKidDoo than anything, but when we come back, we're going to do all this and more, and we will be right back. I'll reset for me.